I am going to make some videos that are just focused on stress-free trading and what that looks like. I'm going to focus on the 30s and 60s. I really suggest the majority of people who are asking me questions to only be trading the 30s and 60s. So I can see here's my entry, 322 up on the 30, which triggers a 3-2 on the hour. I've already flipped the day green, right? So everyone should have, again, their daily open marked, right? So I already know my day is green, okay? And ahead of time, you should also know where your target is. Target is this week, right? Outside week on Google. But what I really want to focus on is if you can get into your trades on the 30s and 60s, you can live stress-free, okay? So 3-2 on the 30, I'm in, and then I'm just trailing the 30. What does that mean? That means this is my exit until this trade, or not this trade, until this hour close, or this 30-minute candle closes, right? And then I move my stop, and then I move my stop, and then I move my stop, and I keep moving my stop, and I'm only looking at this trade, I'm only coming back to this trade if two things happen. One, I get an alert that I've hit my target, okay? Two, I get an alert that I've crossed below my exit point, right? My stop, my previous candle low, okay? That's the only reason that I will be taking any time to look back at Google, all right? When I hit my target, I put in my stops, or if you want to play with some extra risk, you can trail it on the 5. But the best thing to do is to just take your bloody profit here and let it do whatever else it's going to do, okay? So I'm going to go through my list and see how stress-free yesterday could have been, okay? So we have a 3-2 on AMD right here after the opening 30, okay? Then we have a 3-2-2 continuation on the hour. So what does that mean? This is my ad. This is a Friday contract, so I am not suggesting anyone play 0 days. We're talking about stress-free trading. 0 days does not qualify. It's automatically disqualified from that. Okay, so great. Let's say I enter on my 30. So this is my stop, right? And this is a pretty decent stop. If you want to be more conservative, put it at the bottom of the open of that candle, right? So if I enter there, then my first stop, so if this is my entry, right, on the 30, my first stop is going to be daily continuity. All right, I really don't want to go any lower than that. Then, if you don't want to move up to the bottom of the previous candle, right, so once this candle closes, then I'm moving my stop from here up, okay? If you want to do the open of the previous candle, totally fine. You're going to get stopped out a little bit more, but trade trade in a way that makes you feel comfortable, right? Because we're talking about doing this stress-free. So we get there. First target, ADR, fine. You could take profit here and then wait for another entry if you want to, right? But when this candle closes, where's my stop? Here. Another thing that I do want to mention is when you're doing this, I always let the flip happen. Like, you got to put in wicks on flips. That's just how the majority of candles work. So if this happens in the first 5 minutes, it triggers down and then comes back up, I'm not worried about it. I have like no fear at all. But if you get kicked out of this, that's fine. Then you just need to find another entry, right? So let's say I get kicked out of this here. Totally fine. You take whatever profit you made from here to here and you get kicked out. Then this ad becomes your re-entry, right? Because that means that the hour re-triggered. Okay? So, again, stress-free trading. Once that happens, I've moved my stop here. Let's be conservative since we're talking about stress-free. Move my stop here. Once this candle closes, right? This is where I put my stop. Once this candle closes, I move my stop again, and up and up and up and up until when? Till I hit my targets, right? Target 2, because ADR would have been target 1. And that's probably the last target of AMD on that day. And you can take the time to sort of zoom out, see where you're trying to go. So I guess ultimately this would be a target, because this is a 3-2 on the day. So really outside day is your first big indicator. Okay, so this is not about targets. This is about how simple it is to get into a trade and stay in a trade. Okay, so AMD we see. Let me get rid of these. Yikes. Next, Apple. Apple has something, but you don't have to trade all the things, right? I actually hardly ever trade Apple because I find it very difficult. But this is my entry, right? Failed 2 down on the 30. I go up. I hit my first target. Pardon me. I hit my first target. And then when something happens against me, I just have to get out of the trade, right? Not every single trade is going to work. But you can take trades, the majority of trades, without stress, okay? Next. Adobe. Why are you not short Adobe? Look at the FTC, right? I said this on a video earlier this week, like you should be shorting Adobe, right? So if this is my entry on the 30-minute shooter, this is showing me nothing but bearish FTC, right? I also get this hour, right? So this is my ad. And I'm only looking at 2 time frames at this point, right? Of course, ahead of time, I want to see what is the day doing, where am I trying to go, where's my ultimate target. But then my entries would be on the 30 and 60. If I want to do this stress-free, right? If I want to have a little bit more excitement and likely a few higher profits, then I'll be on the 15, the 5, that kind of stuff. But that adds stress, right? So if this is my entry, this is my ad, I'm just trailing my stops. So when this candle closes, my stop is here. When this candle closes, my stop is here. And so on and so on and so on until I hit ADR. Okay? If we're going to focus on stress-free, take your profits at the targets. Who cares that it went lower? Doesn't matter. You already made your money. So here is my first target. I blow through it. So I'm not worried, right? I have my stops where they are. Here's my second target. I blow through it. Again, not worried, unbothered. So I hit ADR. I don't blow through it. I wick it. Now I'm feeling worried and unbothered. So I just take my bloody profit there. If you want to trail on the hour, then you would have a completely different experience. You would make a bit more money. So that's also an option. All right, next. This is going to be a long video because I'm going through all of them. I'm going through all the tickets that I trade to show you how simple this can be. Okay? NVIDIA had a crazy open. So this is actually an open that I would more times than not suggest you ignore. Okay? Because it happened in the first half hour. It's just like you missed it. There's something else, right? I've just shown you 3 different tickets that you could have taken off the 30. This is not one of them. Okay? And it would have sucked, of course. You know, you have this 3-2. You could have taken it. And if it just didn't go your way, then you would get out. But that's up to you, right? That's not as stress-free. Okay? So what is stress-free is this. Failed 2 up, right? And you want to come all the way back through. So you have a 2-2. This is my entry, okay? So we went up, didn't hit this target. We've failed 2 up on the 30, which is also putting in a failed 2 up on the hour, right? So the hour triggered this 3-2. It came back. It's flipped red. So continuity has changed. And then you could enter here on the 30 and you would just continue down, right? If you really wanted to look for ads, they would be here, here. And you're trying to get back to ADR, okay? Personally, any short on NVIDIA is a scalp, okay? I don't want anyone swinging NVIDIA shorts if we're going to really focus on stress-free trading, all right? Don't swing NVIDIA shorts overnight if you want to be stress-free. If you want to have some risk, dive right in. So you also got this inside hour, right? So that's obviously a really strong ad. And I'll make a video about adding to positions later. All right. Tesla. Tesla was a bit of a tricky guy. This was an entry right here on the 30 to get to ADR, right? So that's your first target. It's just not that much space. Like that target is very close. So if this happens, you still got to take profit there, right? What also Tesla gives you is this really beautiful double inside hour, right? And you're just ready to go. You take this double inside hour and you just keep moving your stops. Like this comes close to hitting your stop. This bar right here comes close to hitting the low of this, but it doesn't, right? You just keep sailing through. So that's your trade for Tesla. Great. What else do we have? Carvana. Interesting 30. 2230. Right? Up to ADR. Take profit at your targets. And then you wait. This is all confusing as hell. Could I say I would enter here? Absolutely. This would just be like a very annoying hold, but it's still a decent hold, right? Because exits here, right? Exit, and then I'm just moving it down. Boom, 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 right? So I just keep moving my exits down. It works for me eventually, right? But why I say this is annoying is because this is all above my entry. So the smartest thing to do would have been to likely have my exit here. If we're going to focus on stress-free trading, this would be the smartest exit. But again, on a Friday, if I'm getting in next week contracts, I don't think that this would have that big of an effect. So stress-free is a little relative, depending on you, where you want your stops. But so if you do get stopped out, then this is your entry, right? Double inside 30 down. It's also putting in an inside hour, right? So this is my ad. So I actually want you guys to be hindsight trading, because then you'll see how simple this can be if you take your time and wait for the trade to come to you, okay? So boom, entry, and then we just go down, 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 down. First target is new low of day. So, or no, that's not true. The first target is the daily open continuity, right? So you want to flip continuity red, and then second target would be low of day. Third target's here, and then ADR, and so on and so on and so on, right? But also, you're running out of time on the day to get to all those targets. So you definitely do want to take something at the daily flip. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit faster through these, but I am going to go through all of them just so you can see and know how simple this is. So Amazon, this is not an actual signal, right? This is a continuation. So this is just like a 2 up, which is less than ideal. So actually would not suggest you trading Amazon, okay? Unless you really wanted to take this inside hour, but it's already really made a move on the day. Palantir, similar situation, right? This opening 30, you just got to live with missing it. And then you have this inside. So this one, you enter here, right? And you go down, you flip the daily continuity, you make a new low of day, and then you wick it. So those are your targets. Those are your exits. Get out of the trade, okay? And then if you look at the hour, you have some fun things. This is fun, right? This entry here on the inside hour, but you have to know you're trading within this first hour. So if you take this entry, you need to make a new high of day. That's a requirement. If you're not making a new high of day, this trade is going against you. And if we're focused on being stress-free, that's not it. So get out. So this is your entry, 1, 2, 2, right? We failed to make a new high. So where are we going? Back to the other side of the range, okay? So that's how that works. You could also take it on the 30. 30's right there. Great. Simple, simple, simple stuff. Hood. I still would likely not suggest you taking this up after this first 30. Yeah, it went, but it's a bit of a difficult trade. It's not stress-free. None of this is really stress-free on the 30 if I'm just looking at it. But what is this hour, double inside hour, right? Trigger this double inside hour. Where's my target? My target is here. Daily flip of continuity. But I also know that I'm actually taking the 5th hour of the day, right? I don't have a lot of time to get there. So I want to be focused on taking profit when I see profit, right? So again, when things occurs matters. But ultimately, simple entry, stops are obvious. I'm making money. I'm moving my profit, like my stop loss as I'm going. Like, this is still simple. Microsoft, same situation. Beautiful 3-2 on the 30. That's my entry. Where am I going? First to ADR. I blow through it. Okay, great. Next target, here, right? I'm going to take profit at my targets. I also see possible add on the hour, right? Boom. Up. Okay. Once I hit my target, now what do I see? I see this inside 30. Okay. Maybe I'm okay. It goes up. It fails to make a new high. What is that? An indicator that I could be going the other way. Okay, great. Let's go on. And I guess if you're feeling confident, I don't know. Everything is so bloody green on Microsoft. You could short this inside hour down. Obviously you didn't get that far, but you did hit back this target. So could do that. Costco. Great. Stress-free. Beautiful 30-minute shooter. We go down. You probably would have gotten kicked out, but it's also Costco, so that movement is a pretty pricey movement. Sorry, my mouse went hectic. That movement's pretty pricey, so up to you in terms of, are you waiting for ADR on that? I totally would, right? If I'm moving my stops to the 30-minute previous high, right? I would just keep going down until I hit my ADR, which is my target, and I get out. Crowd. Beautiful inside 30, right? Inside 30, down. Where am I trying to go? First low of day, and then ADR. The issue with crowd is this may have been less than stress-free. If you're getting in on the 30s, you really also don't want to be trading inside hours, right? You want the inside hour to be your add. You don't want it to be inside, okay? So less stress-free, but also no reason to get out because you're still just consolidating. If you do, however, get out, then you just have an entry here. This is your re-entry. Once these inside hours finally break, get in the trade. And you're going to where? New low of day, boom, and ADR, boom. You blow through ADR, what does that mean? You might as well hold it, right? Then you hit your next target, okay? And then you also need to obviously be aware, like you're coming to the end of the day. Got it. Great. Affirm. Beauty. 30-minute shooter at ADR. No reason not to take this. In, first target, daily continuity, like flip the day red, low of day, boom, 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 and Affirm just kept going, right? Beauty. Snow, inside 30, again, beautiful. Inside 30 does what? Gives me the shooter hour. No way I'm not taking this trade. These are sleepy trades, okay? SPY. Oh, sorry, this is gold. I actually don't trade gold, but you could take this inside 30 up to ADR. Boom. Very simple trade. Get in and out. This is a little more difficult in terms of like obvious actionable signals, so maybe you missed this short. Who cares? Qs, I don't really want to talk about the indices. Those fluctuate in a completely different way. AV Go, a little more difficult for sure, because you could have taken this inside down, but it didn't make a new low, right? So it failed to go to this range, which means what? I'm going to the other side of the range. So I actually, if you get in here, it goes against you, fine, get out. Your re-entry's here, 1, 2, 2, right? Back up, new high of day, right? First, we flip the daily continuity, new high of day, back up to my target, right? So what else do I see that confirms that for me? I see this beautiful add on the hour. Inside hour up. Okay? These, honestly, like trading is so simple. It's just not easy, right? It's very simple. You follow the rules, you look at the chart, you do what the chart tells you, It's very simplified. This also is a little bit of a shakier trade back up because the week, the month, and the quarter is red. So I do want you paying attention to that. But overall, if you're just focused on the 30s and 60s, and again, I'm not zooming out, but everyone should be. Like, you should know where you're going. You should know where your targets are. But I just want to show the ease of 30s and 60s. All right. App. Same situation. Inside 30, boom. Continuation on the hour, so maybe you don't add on that if you want to be super stress-free. It's totally fine. Inside 30, down, new low of day, keep going down, ADR, take your money, go home. Bye. Great. Meta. Just don't even trade it. Like, it's not obvious. It's not simple. Don't trade it. That's simple, right? MU. What a beauty. 3-2-30. Boom. Entry. Fail 2 down, 2 up hour. Boom. Add. Where am I going? Target 1. Cool. Target 2. ADR. Cool. Target 3, you can see the dotted line there. But ultimately, higher ADR. What do? I wick it. So, maybe it's time to look at exiting. Fine. Do that. If you exit, then this is your re-entry. It's giving you some obvious fail 2 down hammer action. That's your re-entry. What do? You just keep going higher. Guys, so simple. So simple. Spotify. Inside 30, down. What am I looking for? New low of day. Got it. Keep going, keep going. This is my target. This is my next target. I don't hit it, right? So somewhere in here, I need to be taking my profit. Whatever that looks like for you in terms of whatever's letting you be stress-free, okay? If I take this inside 30, I also have a 3-2 hour that I would go for my continuation, right? And then also, this is less stress-free, but if something's reversing, this is an obvious entry back to the other side, right? SMCI, a little more difficult. If you see something like this that's just like, I'm not sure where I would get in, it's a little more difficult, don't trade it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to trade every single ticker. Don't want to do Bitcoin. Meta, I feel like we talked about. I'm going to keep going. Okay, ES, NQ, Google. I spoke about that first. But again, inside 30, up. 1-2-2 hour, add, up. You guys, this is for me as well. Like, just looking back, it's like, come on. So simple. So I wouldn't take this because I'm already at ADR, right? I don't want to short at the lows. So if I see this, it's too difficult. I don't want it. You want to take simple trades. Simple, simple, simple. Look at this beauty. Boom, inside. Sorry, not inside, but fail 2 up shooter. Like, things like this, these little dojis, like, say less. Enter, daily continuity flip, new low of day, target 1, ADR, target 2. Like, come on. These are trades you dream about. Look at this. There's my ad right there. Ease. You want to be focused on ease, right? The simplicity is already built into the trading. You want to do what feels easy for you. So stress-free. And now we're back at SPY, which I don't want to talk about the indices. They're completely different. All right, that's this video.